Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fallout New Thedas. Previously on Fallout New Thedas, the team caught up to Dirthara, I don't know, I guess she's an arcanist, creating some exciting magical inventions out of ironbark. She has vowed to stop making weapons and armaments and only makes toys. The team found out that some of her previous life's work has gotten into the wrong hands, specifically the hands of a bunch of people who are now raiding her little elven town, which I don't think I ever gave a name to. Anywho, it's deep in the forest. They're the only town in there. They don't need a name. Forest Town. You guys have been tasked with getting those weapons back from a 45 odd person raiding party of humans who just really don't like elves. I believe at the end of the last session, you guys were setting out from the village, or were about to set out from the village. So, is there anything you guys want to do before you hit the road?
Can I check with Dirthara what the three weapons are? I remember she said one of them was a halberd.
Yes. God, I don't remember her voice. You've got a halberd, you've got a chest plate, and, oh, and the boomstick. Stay away from the business end of the boomstick if you can help it. It booms.
Valise will thank her.
Thank you, kids. I thought I was gonna have to go in there and smack them all myself. And I'm getting a little old for that sort of thing.
Happy to smack.
Would you like some more of my tea for the road?
Oh, yes, please.
It still tastes like swamp water, but you've got a canteen of it now.
Sick. I'm adding it to my inventory.
Swamp tea. Excellent. I should mention this is not a swamp. You're not anywhere near a swamp. The tea just tastes like swamp.
Right.
My question is, how does she know what swamps taste like?
I feel like it's kind of like an implied taste. Like you taste it and you're like, if I drank straight up swamp water, I think this is what it would taste like.
Plus, like, at least 30% of Ferelden is a swamp. Like, you guys have definitely experienced swamp before, except presumably for Neural. And to be fair, I don't actually know where Valise has gone in her travels, but it sounds like mostly urban centers.
There might have been swamps.
All right, shall we go? We have some heads to bash / trick, however we're going to do this.
Narla's on Team Smash, but we'll defer to the rest of the group first before he goes in.
Neural, that's very developed of you.
Oh, character development.
I'm
you
so
have
proud.
about 10 minutes.
You know the word defer?
Neural is very smart.
See, Neural, this is Andrea talking. Neural is just waiting for someone in the group to come up with an idea, and if no one comes up with an idea within a certain amount of time, he's just gonna walk in.
I love it. That's an excellent strategy. That's out of character.
That was in character, by the way. Desmond said, you know the word defer.
Oh.
Neural did not say that. That's why I explained. He does not know the word defer.
Ah, okay.
Valise is going to turn to Desmond and say, how are you at lying?
I'd say I'm fair.
Would you be able to pretend you're a horrible racist who wants to help bandits beat up innocent elves?
He considers for a moment and he goes, I think so, yes.
Right, well, I'm going to need that wig back. And you should probably take off the elf ears once we get out of the village.
Sounds like you guys are headed out of the village. Leave the village, presumably take all of the various elf costumery off. Is Valise gonna disguise herself as not an elf?
Yeah, she's gonna disguise herself as a human. She's gonna specifically pin her ears back to her own hair and then wear her wig on top of her hair.
All right, roll me infiltration.
20.
All right, that's a pretty solid disguise. That's going to be your perception DC
Okay.
for the rest of the interaction. Oh, Alistair, I need you to roll me infiltration as well. And Andrea, why don't you roll me a d20?
9.
All right.
I'm sure that wasn't important.
I mean, it's a result from a table. So it's not like instantly evil.
I'm gonna restart my computer really quick. The sound is just so bad. I'm gonna hope that fixes it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It should only take like maybe 2 minutes, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh boy. Well, the good news about that 9 is that you guys are not going to have a random encounter right now. The bad news is one of you is going to have some serious problems in like probably a couple days.
Was the swamp water poisonous? No, that wouldn't affect me.
No. Also, you're immune to poison.
Yeah.
No,
it could be a corroding
It is a-
poison.
it is a future event,
Got you.
and it is from a random encounter table and not related to any current encounters.
Right. Okay. Ray's gonna look at y'all all done up as humans and realize she probably won't be able to have the same effect, and asks, do you want me to go in with you, or should I stay on the outskirts and just get ready to roll on in if you give me a signal?
Well, here's what I was thinking. If Desmond and I manage to infiltrate the camp, we can possibly locate where the weapons are. If we do that, we can maybe try and move them to a place that's less defensible for them, I mean. And with the element of surprise, you and Nerl could maybe bust in, take out any defenses, and we get the weapons out.
Neural raises his hammer, or their hammer.
Yes, Nerl?
Neural smash.
Can Nerl wait to smash until there's a signal?
Neural sits down.
Ray, how do you feel about being responsible for telling Nerl when to smash?
I can handle that.
While this is going on, Meat Dog is nuzzling Neural and attempting to comfort his obvious sadness at the lack of smashing.
Neural gives Meat Dog some belly rubs.
All right. As you guys continue further down the road, you come to that fork in the road from the previous session. The elf village was down the left, and the right is you.
Alright, we're gonna need to split up at some point, but are you two gonna be able to keep hidden?
If I crouch down, I'll just look like a boulder. Throw some moss on me and I'll be fine.
I'm sorry. All I can think about, Allie, I'm not even sure that you were there for this, but all I can think about are the microwave hiding sideways. Or wait, no, it was a dryer, wasn't it?
It was a microwave who was laying low.
Good.
And when he lay on his side, he was taller than he was before.
That's just what I picture when I think about Ray laying low. But anyways, all right, yeah. You can't see like any signs of settlement yet, so it's pretty safe to keep going as a group for now.
Did Mahanan end up coming with us, or did he stay back in the village?
You guys can retcon that you asked him to come with you. I don't know if you want him there.
Oh, no, the only reason I was asking was because Dirthara said, at the end of last session, she was suggesting taking him with us, or I don't mind. It's probably easier if he doesn't come, I guess.
Yeah, he'll guide you to the fork in the road and escort you that far, but after that he's gonna leave off since he doesn't really want to be murdered.
Yeah.
Okay, as you're walking along this path in the woods, everybody roll perception.
Perception.
Nat 1!
You catch sight of your beautiful, beautiful face in like a small puddle or something, and you're just so handsome that you lean down to kiss yourself and get muddy water all over everything.
He wouldn't do that. He might stand and stare for a minute, but he wouldn't try to kiss himself.
You rolled a nat 1. You at least step in the puddle.
Okay, he will step in the puddle, but he
Sorry, I'm not trying to make character choices for you.
He steps in the puddle, but he doesn't try to kiss the puddle. And then he stares at himself because, my goodness, just so handsome.
Indeed.
It looks like Ray got a 30. Actually, it looks like Ray got a nat 20.
She did, and I'm getting to her in a sec.
Heck yeah.
The rest of you, all three of you, see what looks to be some sort of there definitely some sort of like ornaments in the trees. And just for the record, Max may bark suddenly in just a sec. There's geese outside our window and he looks interested. So don't let that terrify you. But there's these ornaments in the trees, and as you get a little closer, you recognize that a lot of them are made out of skin, presumably from a humanoid. And Ray, with you at 20, you also notice that on the path you're walking, it's a little grown over, like it's been a month or so, but you can see tire treads in the road, like from a working vehicle, not just like a Bronto and cart type deal.
Okay. I'm gonna relay that to the party.
Is that unusual for the wasteland?
Yeah, it's definitely not unheard of, but it's very rare to have like working, I guess for a Fallout equivalent they would be lyrium powered, but it's very rare to have like working lyrium powered vehicles that don't go haywire around rifts and things. Most people rely on animals to move them because they're slower, but they won't break down at like, the ultimate sign of danger. But cars are very fast and can be built to like be used as sort of like mini tanks, and they're very hard to get into, but if a rift opens up or like the sort of general aura around changes, they're just shot. Yeah, sorry, I think the shuffling is Max. He's very sad about not being able to eat the geese outside. He's settled down a little now, so it should be done.
Okay. So, if they do have some sort of car, I think we can definitely smash it. I think I can take on that responsibility.
That could even make
can-
for a decent diversion.
I can also just stand right in front of it and laugh as it drives into me, if appropriate.
That could be fun.
I aim to please.
You'd need to make sure that they didn't catch you.
Well, I can be spry. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
We're actually pretty young as golems go.
Heck yeah. Living it up in my prime. Not even middle-aged. Maybe this vehicle of theirs can be my red Corvette. Midlife rock crisis.
I'm going to say with a nat 20, you have looked at sort of the depth of these treads and whatnot, and it would probably not support your weight.
Lame. Although,
Neural can have Corvette.
yes.
Okay, so you guys are starting to see like signs of this settlement, including but not limited to the creepy skin things. And if the party's gonna split off, now's probably the time.
All right. I'm going to take Neural somewhere. Can we find somewhere that's like visible? We can see the settlement, but what would be hard to see is there like a hill or something?
Roll me either infiltration or survival.
Okay. Gonna be survival. Sick.
You are doing super well. Okay, yeah. You guys find what looks to be a grown over observation tower. It looks like at some point this settlement was like trying to use it to keep watch, but they ended up moving to other vantage points and things, and it's partially grown over now. You can tell it hasn't been used in a long time, and you've got a great vantage point of both the surrounding area and the area inside the little compound.
Heck yeah.
I say compound, it's more a bunch of like tents and bonfires.
Right.
There's not really like walls, just a lot of dudes with guns.
Okay. So there's no walls. How many buildings are there?
You see one big long tent with some like cooking fires outside of it that you can pretty safely assume to be the mess hall. There's maybe a dozen or so individual like shelters that look to be like living in sleeping quarters, but they're not big. They look like they, are basically tents that sleep somewhere between 1 and 5 people, depending on their size.
Right.
And some of those are like real pop tents that got raided from an outdoors store at some point, and some of those are made of like scrap cloth and various debris, and some of them are made of like ripped up tree bark and things.
Right. Okay, cool.
All in all, it looks pretty crappy. And let's deal with what Dally and Bucky are doing before we talk about like what else you guys can see.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So, let's see. Are we just like heading on in, I guess? Or
You guys have discussed a little bit of a plan, but it's up to you and Dally.
yeah, we'll approach the camp.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys are trying not to be spotted, or are you like brazenly walking up there, like trying to pull it off? Like, oh yeah, we're just new recruits.
Take a look at the chat. Dolly's got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I see. All right, I like that idea, Dally. Excellent. Yeah, so Desmond kind of like takes the lead a little bit, and he jogs up, kind of waving his arms and calling out for help.
All right. What do you say? Are you just like screaming help?
Well, actually, I'm gonna steal Dally's word choice and say that one of the quote knife ears almost got us.
Do you say quote out loud?
No.
Kind of wanted you to. Like, I mean, it would have been horrible, but he kind of wanted you to. All right. Roll me speech. And are either of you like attempting to fake an injury, or are you just like running around?
In circles, preferably.
Oh yeah, you just creamed their insight score. Okay. One of them runs up to you, and he's like, he looks to be like a fairly like low ranking sentry. Like they're not wearing uniforms or anything, but like his armor is comparatively not that cool, and he's just got like a regular pipe rifle. Like it's clear that he is in no way one of the guys you're looking for, but he was a camp lookout. And he comes running up to you, and he tries to kind of like support Valise, where she looks like she's kind of disheveled and in shock and whatnot. And he's gonna say, "Hey, it happened to me, man. You can't let him keep you down."
Valise grips onto him dramatically.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
Loving
so
it.
much. We weren't sure we were going to get away.
It's no problem now, miss. Wow, you really are a girl. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Felice is going to look a bit sort of shy and flutter her eyelids a little, and it's Velma. You can call me Velma.
Velma, huh? That's a great name. I used to watch holotapes, and there was a real smart girl named Velma on some of them that like solved mysteries.
Oh my god, Scooby Doo.
But like, it was always the humans that did it for some reason, and that got to be kind of upsetting, you know. But like, I'm sure you're all right.
I certainly hope so. What's
Were
your...
the tapes racist towards humans?
Of course they were, Alistair. Okay. So, Dally, are you trying to seduce this man?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Roll for it. Remember, you get 6 before I start penalizing you.
Nice.
I think. Oh. Roll me just a straight up and down charisma check, and I'm going to oppose it with his intelligence.
Oh, so I don't get to roll speech?
Um,
I can just roll charisma, it's fine.
speech. I'll let you roll speech, but I'm using his insight then.
Okay.
Ouch. He has not seen a woman in a long time.
Oof.
I rolled low, but I have a nice modifier.
He's too busy being racist and horny to notice anything.
Yeah, Valise, this was not your best work, but like, it's not really worth wasting your best work on this guy.
He's a racist. He doesn't deserve my best work.
Again, too busy being racist and horny to see anything meaningful.
I already have plans for how I'm going to kill this one.
He says, actually, you guys are in for a treat. We're having we call them pep rallies. You guys can come in and watch, and I'll introduce you to some of the boys after.
All right, but I can stay near you, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, after the pep rally, we'll probably go to the mess, and you can have my dessert if you want.
That's so sweet of you.
What's for dessert?
Oh, so sometimes it's like snack cakes, and other times we have pudding. It depends on like what what some of the like raiding groups brought back in from like areas they could loot, because like the woods aren't like a great place to get food from, you know, like there's just like nature and arable land, and like we're really looking more for like pre-made stuff, you know. There's not a lot to loot around here.
Well, what is your group doing out in the woods? I mean, we're incredibly lucky you are here, but...
We're saving pretty girls like you and stuff. Pretty fellas too, but like not in a gay way. Don't worry, bro.
I don't take offense to that.
He kind of like punches you in the shoulder in like a sad but manly way.
Desmond just kind of looks down at his shoulder, rubs it, and then looks back up at him.
So it's all right for us to come in and recover?
Yeah, of course. We'll get you anything you need. Whatever you want.
Felice,
And
outside, externally, Felice has like this very sweet, innocent smile on her face. Internally, she is smirking.
okay, what are Neural and Ray doing? Or maybe just Neural, since Ray seems to be having technological issues.
Neural is stacking rocks on the large walking rock.
Excellent. Is Ray doing anything about this, or is this just kind of happening? All right, Andrea, make a luck roll for me. All right. As you are watching, a very tiny fly buzzes in the window.
Neural's mortal enemy, a bug.
Neural gets up and starts chasing the fly.
All right. Let's see. You're not like headed outside or anything though. The fly's just buzzing around inside.
He's still going to try to smash it.
All right. Catch up to the fly. You've got a good shot line. Are you smashing this with your hand or with the hammer?
Hannah, what do you think?
Is it
Hammer.
Allie, why are you cheering for the hammer?
I think it'd be hilarious. Wait. Yes. Hammer time. Thank you, Dally. The bug isn't on me, right?
No, it's just like on a wall.
Wait, we're near a wall?
You're literally inside of an observation tower, remember?
I missed that part of the description. I apologize. Sick.
Ellie, you
Okay.
rolled incredibly high on survival, and you found an old watchtower. It was like literally the best possible outcome.
Sick.
6.
All right, the fly buzzes breezily away and flies back out the window, and your hammer goes through the wall nearby. Oh no, what is Neural doing?
Neural's gonna try to fall the fly.
Oh no.
Rolling to stop Knurl.
All right. Neural is distracted, so opposed athletics check. Andrea, you have disadvantage, but it doesn't really matter because I think your athletic score is still higher than Ray's.
So is disadvantage just roll twice, take lower, like in D&D?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh, Andrea.
One of my first ones, so...
All right. Ray, you trip over yourself and utterly fail to catch Neural, but you catch yourself before you make a loud crash on the floor. Neural,
That's a plus.
you are so distracted by the fly that you forget how ladders work and you just fall out of this observation tower and land face first on the ground. And you make a pretty loud noise.
Oh no.
Do I take fall damage, or...
No, it's not that hard of a fall. You just like cracked a bunch of sticks and things. You hear a voice coming from a mess hall tent that says, "Hey, what was that? Who's out there?"
Neural has a feeling that Neural should stay quiet.
All right, Neural. Are you moving at all, or are you just gonna stay real quiet?
Gotta stay real quiet.
All right. There is a noise as someone comes stomping out of the mess tent you saw earlier to come check on the area near where you're. I'm not sure it's hiding, you're just laying flat on the ground. And they're going to make a perception roll. Huh. Guess it was nothing. And they stomp back inside.
That's the sound the wind makes.
Yeah, that's the sound the wind makes when it falls out of the old observation tower.
Ray is going to motion to Neural to come back into the observation tower.
Neural is going to quickly and quietly climb back up.
All right, roll me a stealth check real quick.
Is Neural stealth? Oh no.
All you've got to do is beat the 15.
That's 20!
Yeah! Neural has the stealth of an otherworldly cat. Not like a regular cat, a cat that, like, you know, just sort of floats up things.
Good.
Flying cat. And Neural just kind of dances back into the treehouse and lands without a sound. Also, I have no idea how you got Meat Dog up there, but Meat Dog is up there eagerly awaiting your return.
Sick.
Neural will get revenge on that fly later.
I believe in you.
All right. All four of you hear the sound of some drums and a lot of people kind of like yelling and cheering. And as you look out further past where you've got the living tent and the mess hall tent, there's this enormous dugout fire pit. And on one side of it is this raised wooden platform, and on the other side is an area of sort of like scuffed up dirt where, you know, you can tell a lot of people like stand or sit semi-regularly. And as you look, a man wearing this, like, dazzling wooden chest piece, and you can tell even from a distance, like this thing is shining in the light. The wood looks brand new, and like despite the rest of the armor on this man being scuffed, the wood is still like brilliant and clean. This is definitely the chess piece you're looking for. And he looks around, and everyone comes running out of their tents to congregate on the other side of this platform from him. And he just raises his arms and he yells like, "Yeah!" And everyone starts screaming back to him. And he says, "Who's ready to fuck up some knife ears?" And everyone screams again.
Elise joins in the screaming a little.
Desmond gives a few fist pumps, just to be vaguely enthusiastic.
Yeah, she's kind of like, it's kind of the exciting kind of like, oh my gosh, yay.
All right.
Desmond Desmond leans to Valise, and he says, "So I guess we need to get him to take that off somehow."
Felice just winks at him.
Yeah, Desmond smirks a bit and he goes, "How can we get someone to take their clothes off?"
I'm sure I wouldn't know.
So we'll leave that to you, or me, depending on his preference. I don't want to make assumptions.
Alistair, I need you to call heads or tails.
Heads.
So a good point is like, we're kind of near that guy. Oh wait, this is for...
All right, you guys don't get to know the answer to that, but that's going to be fun later.
But no, there is... Oh, I have a strategy for this that I never got to use in the other game I was going to use it in, but I'm going to get to use it in this one, and it's going to be amazing.
This is going to be good.
I just realized that I've been on push to talk.
Oh no! Allie, what
That's alright, I didn't have a
saying?
lot to comment. I just had snarky comments.
Good.
Can Ray tell what his preference is with a survival check
Oh my god.
from
No,
the
no, no.
tower?
Hang on. We're going to stop this whole fucking game, and you're going to explain to me right now how that is a survival check.
Okay, so like
Well, Hannah, the birds and the bees.
instincts, right? Birds and bees, your natural instincts, nature, survival, surviving in nature, surviving in romance, surviving in the world of romance, survival check.
Wow.
I mean, her reasoning checks out for me, but I'm a bard, so...
That was not good. That was... No.
Can I
Okay,
roll
listen.
insight?
You could just
Listen.
ask.
Well, I'm in a tower.
I will point out that you already have evidence that you are in a deeply homophobic location, and anyone you ask will not only say that they are straight regardless of the true answer, but also beat you up for asking. Anyways, the man on stage of the indeterminate as of yet sexual preference, except for Andrea, who knows the secret,
Good.
but Neural does not. But the man
Girl doesn't really care. No, Bucky.
on stage of the indeterminate sexual preference raises his fist and says, "For too long, the knife ears have kept us down. They stole our world. They're the reason the apocalypse happened." And everyone's like, "Yeah." And he says, "They ruined our lives. They made us fight for survival, and now we're gonna ruin their lives back." And everyone's like losing their minds. Like, you're not really sure that this guy is actually the most charismatic in the universe, but these people have clearly been kind of starved for entertainment, and they're just ready to go. They're ready to kill some elves. They're so excited. People are like getting their weapons out and firing their guns into the air. They're pumped up.
Can Valise
that's a
take
waste
a
of
look
ammo.
around and see if she can see any other ironbark weapons?
Well, I'm going to save you the trouble real briefly.
Okay.
As this guy reaches the end of this much longer than the sample I gave you speech about how much he hates elves and how elves are the worst and people should just kill them, he reaches behind his back and pulls out what appears to be a mage's staff, and he holds it straight up into the air, and there is this deafening roar, not from the people around you. There's this huge boom from the end of it, and a massive fiery explosion shoots out of the end of this staff, and rain sparks down on everyone around you. But you can't roll perception to find the halberd.
I'm going to just say real quick that Felice looks around in awe and wonderment and says excitedly to Desmond, "Oh my goodness, it's some kind of boomstick." And yes, I'm going to roll to look for the halberd.
Same.
All right, give me some perception checks. Those of you in the watchtower can help, but you're further away, so your DC will be a little higher.
Got you.
All right, Valise and Desmond, neither of you actually see anyone with a halberd, but you do spot a much fancier than normal tent. It looks a little more spacious, and it actually looks like a tent. It seems to be a little more permanent. It's got a flap that's an actual door. You can tell whoever's most important, or a couple of the most important people in this camp, probably live in that tent. Neural, you notice that there is a bigger, nicer tent from far away, but you definitely don't get more than that. And just not a strong showing there, Ray. You know what? Your joints lock up again and you fall over. There's no penalties. You just fell down.
R.I.P.
Meat Dog can't laugh because Meat Dog's a dog, but you can tell that Meat Dog is laughing at you.
Of course. Well, I live here now.
Oh.
Alrighty. The speech concludes, and your sort of personal guide, who introduces himself as Mervyn.
Of course he does.
Yeah. Mervyn. It introduces himself as Mervyn, says, "Wow. Can you guys feel it? I'm so excited. Let's go get some dinner." And he kind of motions you on over to the mess tent. What are you going to do?
I want to see if everyone is going into the mess tent, specifically if Head Honcho is heading into the mess tent.
Head Honcho is standing to shake hands and talk with a couple people after his speech, some soldiers, or well, I say soldiers, they're not, these people are not in any way a real organized army. They are a large group of bandits. But some of his quote unquote soldiers have come up to talk to him afterwards, and he's speaking to them, and he doesn't show any signs of moving anywhere for the time being. He's deep in conversations with some people of lower rank than him.
Okay. Well,
the larger crowd is moving towards the mess hall, except for a few people who look like they're going to be on guard duty.
still hanging off of Mervyn's elbow, she says, should my companion and I introduce ourselves to your leader? Since we're impinging on your hospitality and all.
He says, yeah, you guys want to meet Chad?
His name is Chad?
Of course it's
Listen,
Chad.
The last campaign I ran, literally every single villain, including a girl, was named Chad.
Incredible.
Good.
Well, that's not entirely true. There was also Eustace and Mervyn, whose name I'm reusing also, but their middle names were both Chad.
Of course.
But anyways, yeah. He gestures you over to Chad. And he says, do you want me to introduce you to him, or do you want to introduce yourself, or can women do that?
Oh, it's all right. I have my friend here who can introduce me. And she gestures to Desmond. I wouldn't want to keep you from your meal, but perhaps I can catch up with you in time for dessert.
Oh, yeah, it's a date. Yeah, I'll see you later. Uh,
I look forward to it.
babe. and he like runs off, tripping over his own feet.
Felice gives Desmond what is starting to become a little bit of a fixed smile.
Desmond looks at her and he says, "Are you sure you can introduce yourself?"
Oh no, dear, that's what you're here to do, isn't it?
Ah, of course.
I'm sure that Chad over there will be more than happy to make the acquaintance of another strong man who is all for the cause of fighting the knife ears.
Right.
But perhaps if you'd be good enough to introduce me as well.
As you guys are having this conversation, Chad is kind of slapping the people in front of you in this sort of impromptu greeting line on the back and sending them off on their way. This particular couple of people look like they have guard duty, and so they're headed out around the camp rather than going to dinner.
Is the way... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's now your turn.
Felice defers to Desmond.
Desmond approaches, nods in greeting, and kind of holds out his hand to shake.
I haven't seen you guys here before. Are you new recruits?
Yes, we're new recruits. I am Desmond, and this is, Dally, did you say Velma or Thelma?
Velma.
This is Thelma.
Fucking... I'm sorry, did you just intentionally say Thelma after she said Velma?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he's
amazing.
playing a douchebag. He's getting into it.
Felice quietly says, Velma, actually.
Ah, Desmond and Velma. Well, it's not often that we get such fine-looking new recruits or such beautiful ladies. And he's gonna kind of like bend down and kiss Felice's hand.
Felice is going to... I mean, I know you can't blush on command, but Felice is doing her best. She's being very coquettish at the moment.
Can I roll to sexual orientation?
What is... I want to hear Dally's brilliant plan for determining sexual orientation.
Well, I don't know if it'll work in this camp, and I don't know if I can do it right at this moment.
All right. Alistair, I'll let you roll insight, but it's gonna be tough.
He's giving off bi vibes to me. He commented on both of our appearances.
I will say that he is not bisexual. Not because it's impossible, but because it's much funnier if he isn't.
This is very true.
He's definitely gay.
I did, in fact, flip an actual coin. Like this isn't rule of funny here. I flipped an actual coin. You called heads or tails.
Yep.
Well, okay, I flipped a digital coin, but the point stands. All right, is that your insight roll?
Yes.
Not gonna do it.
Damn.
Valise roll.
Wait, what was that, sorry?
You can also roll
I get to
insight
roll?
to you can...
Magic.
Yeah.
Insight. Do I get my +4 because he's a human?
You do indeed.
Oh my god. 27?
All right. That's also not going to do it, for the record.
Fair.
But you do notice that he makes full eye contact with both of you. His not sliding down either of your bodies.
His what sliding down?
Eyes.
He's keeping his eyes up here.
Like he has not so much as snuck a glance at either one of you.
If he's ace, we're fucked.
He is not
Well,
ace.
actually,
He
we're-
is either gay or straight.
I know.
I mean, if he's ace, we're actually not fucked.
Felice is going to say, they said that your name was Chad?
That's right, m'lady.
He even says "milady." God, I want to vomit.
I figured it was better to make the hate groups a little funny.
Valid.
How long has your operation been running out of this forest? It can't have been easy.
Oh, the boys and I set up camp here probably about 6 months ago. We came into some new weaponry and we decided to take the fight to them.
New weaponry? Oh, like that staff that I saw you wielding.
Hey, not a staff. I'm not no stinking mage.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I tend to think of staff as having a slightly different meaning.
That's funny. Me too.
He's gay.
We're European.
Oh my god.
Valid.
Oh, I was just about to make that joke.
Where did you come across these things?
Oh, we found them when we looted a place. And everybody roll insight. Well,
You
not everybody
lying!
hear him.
So I don't roll insight?
If you want to roll insight, I'm going to need you to make the best damn perception roll of your life to prove you have super hearing first.
I got
Fair.
a nat-
I want you to know that Ray is holding up her hands like binoculars up to her eyes.
That's
Excellent. The DC is now 29 instead of 30.
Speaking of DC 30, I got a 32, which is also a natural 20.
All right. Let's see. I didn't have good information for a nat 20. Hang on.
It's okay,
How about for a nat 1?
but it means I pass, right?
Okay, Allie, you've got rocks in your ears. Yes, Felice, you definitely pass.
Girl, put them there.
Felice knows for sure that he is lying. He is not lying particularly well. It's clear that he didn't expect you to ask about that, and he seems sort of personally defensive about that point. Like beyond regular has something to hide, which he does because you know where they came from.
Felice is going to take a moment and look over at Desmond and say, well, that's a shame. We were hoping for something a bit more... Well, you were hoping for something a bit more exciting, weren't you, Desmond? A daring raid on an elven camp, stealing away their best weapons to use against them.
Yes, it's such a poetic tale. It would be. But finding them is just as interesting, I suppose, in its own way.
Roll me speech, and Desmond rolls the dice, but you can use whichever of your speech modifiers is higher.
My speech mod is, 13?
20.
Your speech mod is higher than mine.
Up where?
Okay. He kind of blinks at Desmond and he says, well, we didn't just find them. It's a very interesting story.
I'd love to hear it.
It's very violent. It's not fit for a lady's ears. If you wanted to come back to my tent or have dinner with me, I could tell you all about it, but we should probably protect Thelma's innocence.
Of course. Why don't I go and catch up with Mervyn, and I'll catch up with you later, Desmond.
Sorry, I just can't hold it together.
My method wasn't needed, it's all fine.
Yeah. Alright, yes, I'll see you later.
Barely perceptible wink, walks off to the mess tent.
Oh my god, okay.
Meanwhile, Desmond's panicking slightly because he's just kind of like, I've only been in the world for 2 days. I don't know how to flirt with people.
Oh my god, how do you not know how to flirt with people?
I mean, he does, but also he's never done this as a human before. He's never been in this situation before.
All right. As Felice is leaving, an adorable stray cat from around camp comes and kind of twines herself around Desmond's ankles and purrs.
Desmond looks down and leans down to pet her.
Oh, you like animals, huh? That's me too. I like cats.
Do you have a favorite animal?
I mean, not like really. That'd be kind of gay, but cats are nice. And they're really smart and they're so soft. So you know they're all right or whatever, I guess. And this cat is just purring in your arms now.
Yeah,
Mm.
Desmond scoops the cat up and is just kind of holding and petting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd picked it up already. I wasn't trying to make a decision for you.
No, I was gonna do that anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. And he says, would you and your friend like to come have dinner in my tent? It's nice and private.
Certainly, that sounds lovely.
He leads you over to, it's still a very fancy tent, but it's like a smaller version of the fancy tent right next to it. It is not the big fancy tent that you saw earlier. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go well they're going to a fancy tent, but this one, when you get in, it's got like a bed and like a teeny tiny little table that you presume is like just for eating and maybe writing at, but you don't see a lot of books around.
Banging on.
It's a little small for banging on. The banging's definitely gonna be on the bed. All right, let's check back in with Team Smash.
Team
All right.
Smash, go!
At this point, the person who stomped out, who you saw as they were leaving was the cook, has come back into the mess and become, very absorbed in serving dinner to this group of like 40 odd people. And you guys are now kind of just hanging out. This may actually be like the first time you guys have spent together that isn't immediately overshadowed by something attacking you. So I'm just going to give you guys a sec to play it out if you'd like to.
Okay.
Neural has almost buried part of Ray in a pyramid of rocks.
Fair. I like it.
Where did you get the rocks?
Don't ask questions.
He's a rock herder.
Ray is going to ask Neural, so, Neural, what are your long-term plans for the future?
Neural doesn't have any plans.
Have you ever visited a Bronto farm?
No, Neural has not visited.
Well, I think that you might like it. Meet some of the extended family.
Neural is engrossed in the pyramid stacking.
Fair. Ray is staying still so that the pyramid stacking goes well. Neural is so talented.
It would be a very extended family. This is just a reminder that your family tree, the relationship to you, instead of having like solid, lines and things, there's literally a question mark and then a line that says neural, separate from everything else.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, one day we'll find out what the question mark is.
For the record, Allie, this is right at like the center side of your tablet. Like you can tell that like even the K is broken off on the other side.
Cool.
Just for future reference, this is not entirely on your side of the family.
I got you.
All right. And Felice, what are you doing? Are you actually going back to share dessert with Mervyn, or?
Well, you see, can I notice that the tent they're going to is not the fanciest tent that we saw earlier?
Yes, absolutely.
I am going to head towards what I think is the mess tent. It's the fancy tent, the really big one right there, right?
Oh, obviously.
But like, I don't want to like disturb anyone, so I'm going quite, quite quietly.
Of course.
And I'm
Roll.
feeling quite self-conscious because there aren't many women here, so I'm also, kind of trying to stick to the sides and not be seen so much, not draw attention to myself. I don't want to be ostentatious.
Roll me stealth.
Sure. My sneaky sneak?
Yes. Sorry. I
8.
couldn't remember if it was stealth or sneak or what.
It means the same thing, it's all good. 24?
Yeah, that will do it.
Team Boomstick.
You sneak into this tent and you see that the majority of it is taken up with a fairly large wooden table that's got like a couple maps on it and a rack of tools that look like they're mechanics tools, and it's a pretty big tent, and over on one side you see raised up on a jack what looks to be a car. At least
Holy
think
cow.
it's a car. It's like a rolling piece of armor. It's plated on several sides. If you're looking at it, you can see dents in the plating, and you kind of realize this is probably what made that big hole in the wall
Right.
back in the village. It's very clearly designed with the intent to be able to like drive right through just about anything.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, do I notice anything else in the tent? Do I notice a halberd?
The halberd is leaning up against the bed, and on the bed is an enormous snoring human man. This is probably one of, if not the biggest dudes you have ever seen in your life. He could give most Kunari a run for their money. He is large, he is broad, he works out.
He even lifts, bro.
He does lift, bro. He could probably not lift the car because again, he is a human, but
is there anyone else inside the tent?
Bro. His back is to you and he is snoring like a buzzsaw. So you're safe for now.
And is he the only one in the tent, apart from me?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
How am I going to do this? Let's see. I don't want to start causing a diversion yet because I want to give Desmond time to work his magic.
Fair enough. I will also remind you that halberds in general, usually they're like 6 feet tall, give or take.
So I'm not going to be able to sneak this out.
I mean, you could if you got real creative, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
This guy, this human who is asleep on the bed, what's he kitted out with right now?
There's a heavy chest plate at the foot of the bed along with some very heavy boots, but he's still wearing what appears to be like sort of his like under armor. He's got some padded leather clothing on. It seems like kind of a paranoid guy. Like he's not in his jammies. How close are you going to him?
Oh Lord, there are 2 ways this could go down.
Because like on the one hand, if you inspect him closely, I will make you roll another stealth check.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you will, receive more information and whatnot.
I am going to sneak closer to him.
All right, roll me another stealth check.
Shit. That's a 16.
All right, cross your fingers. Oh, he kind of snuffles in his sleep and rolls over a little. And you can see he's got this huge scar dragging down one side of his face. Maybe scar's not the right word, even. It looks very recent, like it is livid. And he has clutched to his chest like a teddy bear, a dagger, and a helmet.
He's clutching those things to his chest. Can I
Put
tell?
a hula lamp there instead.
Yeah.
How?
And as you can sort of tell by the fact that he shifted around, and also as you can tell in sort of a metagame sense by the fact that I'm not giving him penalties, he is a deeply paranoid man, and he is an extremely light sleeper.
Okay.
So this is not going to be a good time if you wake him up and you're alone with him. I'm going to go back through everybody else.
Yes.
And you think, yes. All right, Desmond, you go back to Chad's tent, and he pours you some wine.
Of course.
Of course. And I mean, for the record, this is like they're out in the woods. It is not fancy wine that is looted from somewhere. It is essentially toilet wine.
Oh.
Like that's the level we're talking about here. Like one of these dudes made this wine a month ago.
Ugh.
But he's kind of sipping on it with you and making small talk. And he tells you, has anyone ever told you that you have very almost hypnotic eyes?
Well, oh, that's such a nice thing to say. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be good for scaring your enemies, probably.
Do you have any other ideas of what they'd be good for?
Well, if I were your enemy, I'd be defenseless. I'd just, stare into them. And he is staring into your eyes as he says this.
Oh my god.
Also, Alistair, it's not like I want to be clear when I say this. I don't have any like specific ideas of how this scene will go, but I do want to let you know that I'm not sure it was super clear when I outlined the mage stuff for this system, but you can perform any sort of like minor magic without necessarily having a spell for it. Basically, if you can perform it as a cantrip in D&D, you can probably do it. And I just want you to know that so you can be like a little creative and have options open in more freeform situations.
Cool.
Yeah, so this man is staring into your eyes. You are sipping terrible, terrible wine. What do you do?
He kind of leans forward, his elbow on the table, and like kind of holding his chin in the palm of his hand as he stares back, and he says, "I listened to your speech earlier before we came in here."
Yeah, Maddox sends me out to like inspire the boys. I'm kind of his right hand guy. He tells me a lot about what's going on and how we're doing. He even gave me like this chess piece when we found it. He said he couldn't have somebody just cutting off his right hand like that.
You're not the one in charge?
Well, I mean, not technically, but you know what they say. It doesn't matter what the head's doing. The neck can turn it any way it wants.
I like that saying. I was just thinking that I completely thought you were in charge. I never would have guessed anyone else.
Well, I am a pretty take charge kind of guy if you want me to be.
Do you want to be?
He is holding like an uncomfortable amount of eye contact, even for you.
Oh, wow.
He says, maybe, is that something you'd like?
Desmond pauses for a long, thoughtful moment, and then he clears his throat and he sits back a bit. And he says, "I must ask you something. Earlier you said something," and he kind of waves his hand as he's trying to think of the words. And he says, I don't remember your exact words, but you seem to imply that you weren't, or that you look down on being interested in men."
Well, I mean, that's sort of it's bad for morale if guys are doing stuff publicly, or at least that's what I've been told. So I'm it's more important what the group thinks.
And what exactly do they think?
Well, it's you got a bunch of guys out in the woods, um, away from women too long. They get jumpy if there's somebody who likes men out with them. At least if they know about it.
And why do you think they feel that way?
Are you trying to psychoanalyze this man? Because I'm having a really hard time coming up with more homophobic but like self-loathing answers here, man.
No, he's like, I was going in a direction with this, but like, if you have encountered,
All right. He says, well, I guess it's just it's not something that they're used to, maybe, and if you have people around who are tempting.
do you think it's not manly?
You mean do I think, or
Desmond just kind of watches him and doesn't respond.
I mean I guess a little. Um, like if you've got two guys together, maybe one of them has to be the girl, sort of, but like they're still two guys. I don't know. I've never thought that hard about it before. Why are you asking?
Oh, I was just. It's something I've been thinking about lately because it's something I've struggled with too. For a time, I felt like it wasn't manly either, but I've been thinking lately and I've realized that don't you think there's something a little bit, you know, masculine and raw about two men?
Well, of course. I mean, it's twice the man.
Exactly.
And he kind of like closes his eyes for like a second too long after he says that.
Oh my god.
All right, we're gonna move away from this scene before I get more uncomfortable.
Sorry.
The views presented by Chads do not reflect the views presented by the people doing this recording. Anyway,
Character is named Chad. We don't agree with them.
anyways,
Are you okay?
yeah. All right, Treehouse Crew. There are a couple people like coming out of the mess, having finished dinner, and a couple of them are walking and talking, and they walk over to sort of the edge of the observation tower that you guys are in, and they're just talking. They're having a conversation about like how the raid's going to go tomorrow. And one of them leans against the ladder to the tower and starts smoking a cigarette.
Well, that's bad for their health.
Neural is vibrating with smash potential.
And how many of them are there? You said two?
There are two, but keep in mind if you make any loud noises, it will be audible to the mess tent, which is not very far from you at all.
Right. Ray is going to put a silent, rocky finger to her rocky lips and look at Neural meaningfully,
Neural is
not
vibrating.
upsetting the pyramid of rocks upon her back, head, shoulders, not sure where.
Neural is vibrating and clutching Neural's hammer.
I'm going to need you guys to make either stealth rolls or attack rolls and stealth rolls, depending on which way that smash thing goes.
Let me take a look at my stealth. Cue for laughter. That would be sneak Ha. All right. Neural, we kicking their butts? Or we just listen in? Do you think, Andrea?
No, I think we're gonna have to attack.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, the DC was only 10. However,
Neural's vibrating a lot.
yeah, Neural is vibrating so much that their hammer is making like a pop 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 noise on the floor.
Oh boy.
And one of these dudes kind of puts out his cigarette and looks up and says, "Hey, I think there's like a rad roach or something in here." And he's gonna start climbing the ladder.
Neural is gonna kind of stand behind where he would be facing.
All right.
How close is the second person to the ladder? Are they like right next to the ladder?
Yeah, they're leaning on like one of the support struts of this thing, talking to the first guy who's now climbing the ladder.
Right. So theoretically, if a giant rock person was to jump down this ladder, would they fall on both of these people?
No, but you would definitely fall on the ladder guy, and I would give you a surprise round.
Sick. I'm gonna rock and roll down that. Let me roll attack, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless you crit fail, you're gonna hit this guy.
Right. Do I roll accuracy?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have you roll stealth again to not like clump too loud as you get ready to jump down this ladder. Because like, unless he moves, you're going to hit him.
Does that do it? I got a 13.
Yeah, that does it. Because he thinks it's just a bug scuttling around up there. All right. Roll me damage for a critical unarmed hit. You're just throwing yourself on him.
Right. Let me see what my thing is for that. So, critical unarmed. Help me out. I'm looking at my little combat modifier thing. I see crit range. I see damage.
I believe your actual weapon that you chose is in fact unarmed. So just use your weapon damage, whatever that's listed as, and then double whatever the damage roll you get is.
Sick.
And don't forget to include your strength bonus.
Right. So that'd be 26?
Yes, indeed.
Heck yeah.
All right. It's not. I'm not gonna give you like the lightning damage thing this time because like you're just cannonballing, but you do cannonball very effectively. And as you fall, you hear something just crunch. And how this dude landed was not how human bodies were ever meant to go. He's out. He's done. And the other guy kind of looks at you and goes, ah, and he's getting ready to like he's kind of reaching for his gun, but mostly he's getting ready to scream.
Can Neural hop out the window?
Yes.
And try to go at this guy.
Yes, you can. I was going to say, Neural, you were still at the top of the trapdoor. You saw all of this. All right. You're jumping out of the window, and you're going to try to attack him on the way down?
Whichever way, either jumping down the ladder or jumping out the window, whichever would be the most effective.
I'm going to say out the window, because he's kind of on the edge of this thing. All right. Roll me athletics. All right. That was not a great roll for you, but your bonus is so high that I'm going to let you do it anyways.
Yeah.
You kind of gracelessly flop out of the window, and as you're coming down, you smash your hammer into this guy's head. Roll me some damage.
17.
All right. He does not crunch in the same way his companion does, but you smack him in the head, and he just goes out cold. Like he's done. He is unconscious. And you guys have safely avoided detection.
Neural is about to cackle, then realizes he's supposed to be quiet, so he lets out a small cackle.
Ray proffers a rock fist for a fist bump.
Neural fist bumps back with the hammer.
Sick.
Aw, that's cute. I'm glad you guys are getting along. All right, Felice, we are now back to you. What are you doing with Big and Bulky over there?
Well, it may depend on the answer to the following question. Can I easily get at his neck?
Yeah, when you moved closer to him, he rolled over. So he is now sleeping on his back. You can get at his neck.
And it's not covered by his under armor.
Yeah, it's not covered by his under armor. He and his neck are both pretty beefy, so if you wanted to slit his throat, it would be a fairly precise cut, and you would have to jam it in real deep to actually kill him. But it's definitely very doable.
Are we talking like strength check?
I'd say an up and down attack roll.
Okay.
If you're successful, I will let you coup de grace him. Like, I'm not going to make you roll damage. But if you fail, he will be very angry.
Yes, follow-up question. So my ability, which is the Kronk ability. Sorry,
boy.
turn up the Kronk. Do I have to actually play music for that talent to happen, or do I just spend the stamina?
You can spend the stamina and listen to a little song in your head.
Okay.
If you wanted to use it on someone else, you would have to actually play music.
Oh yeah. No, I'm getting ready to use this on myself if this goes pear-shaped. I am going to sneak closer, pull my knife, and I am going to try and slit his throat.
All right, give me an attack roll.
Is that just a d20?
It's a d20 plus accuracy.
Accuracy, thank you. Accuracy is 6. I accidentally put +5, but that's a 21.
Oh, you just barely made it. You jam your dagger into this guy's neck and you just twist hard. And he kind of like splutters for a moment and his eyes open and his hand reaches out to you and then he just falls back on the bed dead.
While he has just this moment of being awake, she hisses, "Fenhar Alferna." Pulls the dagger back out, cleans it on his bed sheets. Cool. I've got a room to loot.
Heck
You sure do. All right. His actual chest piece is going to be like unreasonably heavy.
Oh,
to
I'm
lug
not gonna
out of-
I'm not gonna take in terms of bulky things, the only thing I'm gonna be carrying out of there is the halberd. But I am gonna look and see if there's any money.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
But on the chest piece, there is a rune
Ooh.
that is kind of hanging off of it on sort of a temporary tag. And you can pull that off and take it with you. There's also in the chest at the foot of his bed, there's basically like a small party bag of chems. And there's a little bit of like jewelry and that looks to be like looted. It doesn't look like it's for him. And a little sack with some lyres inside of it.
Cool.
And also, I guess if you really want some like mechanics tools, they're there.
I'll probably leave the mechanics tools.
Oh, and like a porn magazine, because, you know.
I'm leaving that. I suspect I have different tastes from him.
Yeah. All right, so you have very successfully dispatched that guy. Would you like to do anything else in the room, or are you just going to kind of like, do you have a plan for the halberd yet?
I do not yet have a plan for the halberd. Do feel free to switch over to Desmond.
All right, you're just kind of in this tent with the dead guy and the table and that sort of like car area and the halberd. But you were successful. All right, switching back over to Desmond.
PM, do just to let you know.
All right. Yeah.
Just wanted to lay that out before it starts
Yeah,
getting uncomfortable again.
No, let's do this. I'm ready. All right. He says, "Yeah."
I think I better go pee first, actually, before I laugh.
Okay, please pee first. I only want to do this once.
Oh, while Bucky is doing that, I do have a quick question. If Felice examines near the halberd, is it safe to take, or is it like got any kind of... Actually, it wouldn't have any kind of magical alarm, would it? Because these people hate mages.
Nope, they hate mages. There's Yeah, the halberd seems to be positioned like so he can reach it easily. It wasn't like put away into a secret sealed case or anything. It's very clear that this man considered himself the magical alarm.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question. Is there anything in the room? Oh, could I like hide the halberd under the bed? Or would it just stick out?
It is roughly the same length as the bed. I guess you could hide it under there, sort of, but
But it's kind of obvious to see it.
yeah, like I mean, I would say it would be one of the first places someone would look. If
Fair.
this is a very richly furnished room, you've got like bed, table, desk, and the most crap is over with the cars, but even that's not like, there's not like a lot of like tables and chairs or anything. There's just sort of the car and the workbench where the tools are.
Okay. I'm still formulating.
All right.
All right, are you up for this, Hannah?
All right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's do this. I don't want to revisit this after the 5 minutes.
Okay.
He says, "Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a burden having all the men look up to me like that. It affects your personal life. But like, they're my boys. It's not
Of course, you don't want to take advantage of your position.
yeah, it's not a pressure that I'm unwilling to bear.
Which I suppose is why I'm sure it must be nice when a stranger comes along and there's not that sort of pressure.
Right. It's a real it's a weight off my shoulders, not having to be so careful all the time. 'Cause you seem like an understanding guy. I trust you not to make a scene about this.
Oh, absolutely. I always believe in being discreet.
That's good. I'm discreet too. You don't have to worry about that. If you never answered my question, is me being a take charge kind of person, is that the kind of thing you like?
I would say so, but have you have you ever tried letting someone else take charge?
Are you offering?
Absolutely.
He goes to a trunk at the foot of his bed and he pulls out a length of rope and kind of dangles it in front of your eyes.
Perfect.
All right, you got 3 minutes. Wrap this shit up.
All right. So this is so awkward. I'm sorry. Um,
Allie is in this room making eye contact with me.
okay. We're finishing this. All right. Desmond is going to basically persuade him to take his clothes off.
Yeah, he does. You've done a lot of persuasion work already. I'm not making you roll for anything. This was an excellent plan.
So once he's naked, Desmond ties him to his bed
Haha, and then what?
and then steals all the shit and leaves. Oh, well, he gags him. He gags him first.
I was gonna say, did you gag this man or?
Yeah, he gags him and then he steals all of his shit and leaves.
All right, excellent. Where are you going with his shit? Also, are you looting like this man's whole tent, or are you just taking like the chest piece and the boomstick?
Just the chest piece and the boomstick.
All right. Where are you headed? Do you have a plan for where you're going now?
Oh, actually, first, no, wait. He's gonna look around the tent to see if there's anything where he can like store the boomstick and the chest piece without it being seen, like that he can carry with him.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. You were looking around for what?
like something he can use to carry the chess piece and boomstick without them being seen.
All right. You find a gun case. I mean, it's like you will still look like you're carrying a rifle out of here, but you won't look like you're carrying like that specific item as far as the boomstick goes. You don't find a ton for the chest piece.
Oh, I know. He'll put the boomstick in the rifle case, and he'll put on the chest piece, and then steal one of the guy's shirts and put that on over it.
All right.
And as he leaves, he just kind of looks at the tied up man, and he says,
Chad.
he
Remember his name. God.
he looks at Chad, and he says, I am a mage, and one of my closest friends is an elf. Please reconsider your life choices. And then he leaves.
You hear kind of a behind you, but nothing else.
And he's basically, well, he's gonna actually, first, he's gonna take off for where the other duo is so he can safely store the shit before he goes to find Felice again.
All right. Are you trying to sneak out or are you just like balling out of here?
He's trying not to be seen, but if anyone does see him, he's gonna be nonchalant. He's not gonna be like, I don't know.
Okay,
Can-
roll me
can-
stealth, I guess.
Since it is now 2:45, should we come back to the stealth roll next time?
Yes, we should. Oh, we should definitely come back to that stealth roll next time. All right.
Oh god.
This has been a session.
I think we made a lot of progress, guys.
How is everyone?
Good. I'm much
Thank
better.
everyone
Thank you.
for listening. Thank you guys for playing, except for Alistair.
Fuck Alistair.
He didn't go
And-
over 6.
No, actually, you guys all did great, for real. I love you all, and
Love you.
good night.